Romans 10, beginning at verse 1. Brothers, my heart's desire and prayer to God for them is that they may be saved. For I bear them witness that they have a zeal for God, but not according to knowledge. For being ignorant of the righteousness of God and seeking to establish their own, they did not submit to God's righteousness. For Christ is the end of the law for righteousness to everyone who believes. As I've been getting ready to preach this coming Sunday, I've been spending a lot of time in Romans 9 and 10. The argument Paul is making here is so profound for many reasons, but one reason I keep coming back to is how easily we overlook some of the points he's making in this text, and then perhaps the reason why. And I think Paul is arguing against something that we see as righteous and good, so we don't even think to question that it may be incorrect at best and downright fatal at worst. Well, this, of course, got me thinking about Chinese food. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but just stick with me for a minute. Christy and I love Chinese food, so when we're able to meet for lunch, we usually get Chinese. We like House of Chen or even Panda Express. Now, if you also like to eat Chinese, you know that you usually get a fortune cookie with your food or when you're done. Fortune cookies are supposed to have little sayings about your future or how you're going to have good luck, whatever. Well, the last two I've gotten, the one at House of Chen, the other at Panda Express, weren't fortunes at all. They were commandments. One said, hold the door for others, and the other said, share joy. Now, how did the law make it into fortune cookies? How did being a good person replace receiving good luck or good fortune? It went from being a gift to a responsibility. Well, that's not very nice. As far as I know, no one checked with us, the consumer, to see if we wanted reminders to be a good person instead of good luck wishes or happy predictions about our futures. When there is no gospel, there is only the law. It's all up to you. Now, I doubt very seriously that much thought went into printing the fortunes inside these cookies, but it is somewhat telling, isn't it? The law is everywhere. The only hope the world has is that people decide to become better people, apparently. We all decide to be a little nicer, a little happier, a bright spot in someone else's day. And if enough of these good deeds get done, the world will eventually become a better place. We even may save ourselves, but it's up to each one of us to do our part. Paul teaches us in Romans that this is the gospel we naturally want. We want to be told that we can do enough good or be enough good, and eventually we can earn or at least help earn our righteousness, our salvation. This would be great news if all that we needed was someone to remind us of the good we can or should do and point us on the way to doing it, but that isn't all we need. In fact, the desire for that to be the gospel, it's all up to you, subtly and dangerously works against us so that we can't see what we truly need, total salvation. In Romans 9 and 10, Israel has failed to obtain salvation precisely because they tried so hard to with their own works. They had a zeal for God, absolutely. We would be hard-pressed to find any nation or group of people that had more zeal for God than Old Covenant Israel. But Paul says that zeal for God was not informed by knowledge. If it had been informed by knowledge, if they would have been honest with themselves, they would have already figured out they weren't going to become righteous enough on their own for God to accept them. In fact, if we, like them, seek to establish our own righteousness for salvation, for God's approval, we'll lose our souls. We'll work against God, not for Him. There's only one way to salvation, only one way to become the kind of righteous God actually accepts. And it's here that Jesus steps in. In Romans 10:4, Christ is the end of the law for righteousness to everyone who simply believes His word, His promise. And so the good news is not that the way has been made for us to travel up to heaven if we so choose or try hard enough to be the best me I can be. The good news is that the old way of trying to become righteous on our own was ended when Jesus came and lived and died and rose again for us and then ascended victoriously back to the Father. The good news is not found in positive advice or wishful thinking. The good news is found in the person and work of Jesus Christ alone for us.